What if the greatest battle of your life isn't fought on the battlefield, but against time itself? The screen fades from darkness to a slow-motion view of waves crashing against the Scottish coast. A voice speaks softly, filled with emotion. Love can cross oceans. It can survive war, but can it survive time? As haunting music plays, we see flashes of Jamie and Claire through the ages, their faces lit by candlelight, then fading into the storm of war. The narrator continues. Outlander Season 8 opens with a question that echoes through every heartbeat when love defies time. Who truly wins? The lovers, or time itself? The music swells, then cuts to silence. The screen fades to black, and the story begins. The story opens on a quiet morning, but peace feels like a stranger. Smoke still lingers in the air, drifting over the green hills of North Carolina. The war has ended, but the land remembers. You can almost hear the ghosts of soldiers whispering in the wind, the echo of muskets fading into the distance. Jamie Fraser stands at the edge of a field that once ran red with battle. His hands are rough, scarred, but steady. The hands of a man who has fought too many wars and lost too many pieces of himself along the way. He looks out toward the horizon, and for a moment we see it not just a man, but a memory of every fight he's ever survived. Behind him, Claire walks slowly through the remains of the camp. Her eyes are tired, her hair tied back, her white apron stained with ash and blood. She carries her doctor's bag, but it's more than medicine she brings, it's hope. Faint but still burning. The narration grows soft, steady, and reflective. For years, they have fought to stay together across time, across death, across fate itself. But even when the fighting stops, time doesn't rest. Claire kneels beside a wounded soldier, tending to him with hands that shake slightly. Jamie watches her, that same mix of love and fear that has followed them since the beginning. He knows the war may be over, but time has started another one. A war that steals youth, that blurs memories, that makes even the strongest hearts question how long love can last. In the distance, a bell tolls. The sound rolls over the valley, deep and hollow, marking the end of one chapter and the start of another. The camera pans upward. The rising sun paints the sky gold and crimson. The voiceover continues. The dawn after war is quiet, but it's never peace. For Jamie and Claire, peace is just another battlefield, one where the enemy is unseen, but always near. Time has begun its last game. The scene closes with Jamie and Claire walking side by side, their silhouettes framed by the morning light. No words are spoken, but the silence between them says everything. Their story isn't over. It's only turning toward its final battle. The wind moves gently through the tall grass as Jamie walks toward the old stone house, the one they built with their own hands years ago. The war has taken its toll, but this place, this small piece of their history, still stands. The walls are cracked, the wood is worn, yet every inch of it breathes with memories. When Jamie steps inside, the air feels heavier, as if time itself is holding its breath. Claire is there, sitting by the fire, lost in thought. The orange light flickers across her face, and in that glow, we catch glimpses of her younger self, the woman who once fell through time and into destiny. The narrator's voice grows soft, wrapping the moment in emotion. The past is not behind them. It lives in every corner, every whisper, every look they share. Claire holds an old photograph, Brianna and Roger, smiling with their children in a time far beyond this one. Her fingers trace the image gently, but her eyes are filled with the ache of distance. She whispers, barely audible, "Do you think they're safe?" Jamie kneels beside her, placing his hand over hers. He says quietly, "They're Fraser blood. They'll find their way through any time." But his voice trembles slightly. A man who has faced war but fears what he cannot fight. The slow drift of time pulling his family apart. The camera cuts to a flashback. Bright sunlight over Lollybrook. Laughter echoing through the yard. Brianna runs as a child, Jamie lifting her high into the air. The laughter fades into silence as the memory dissolves. We return to the present, where the same wind rattles the windows. The contrast hits hard, joy fading into ghosts. The narration deepens. pulling the audience closer. Time does not take everything at once. It steals in fragments a smile, a face, a day you can never return to. And before you know it, the past is not just a memory, it's a shadow that follows. Claire closes the photograph and tucks it into her pocket. She looks at Jamie, her voice steady but heavy. Maybe time didn't mean to hurt us. Maybe it's just lonely. Always moving, never stopping. Jamie looks into the fire, the reflection of flames dancing in his eyes. Then we'll give it company, he says. We'll live as long as we can in every second we're given. Quiet pause. The fire crackles. Outside, the storm begins to rise again, thunder rolling like the heartbeat of time itself. The camera pulls back through the window, framing the couple in warm light as rain begins to fall. The voiceover ends the scene with haunting simplicity. Love remembers what time forgets, and sometimes remembering is its own kind of rebellion. The rain hasn't stopped since nightfall. It beats against the roof like an unending clock, every drop a reminder that time never sleeps. Inside, Jamie stares out the window, his reflection blending with the storm outside. His eyes are distant, heavy with a question he cannot ask aloud. What if tomorrow takes everything? What if love is not enough this time? Claire moves quietly behind him, placing a blanket around his shoulders. The fire crackles, throwing soft light across their faces. She tries to smile, but her gaze follows his, toward the darkness beyond the window. There's something in that darkness. Not danger, not fear, but a feeling neither of them can name. It's the weight of what's coming, of choices waiting on the other side of dawn. The narrator's voice grows calm, but full of gravity. Peace has never been kind to them. For Jamie and Claire, stillness feels like waiting for the next storm. And in this stillness, time begins to whisper again, reminding them that every heartbeat borrowed from the future must one day be returned. Jamie turns toward the fire, his voice low and thoughtful. I used to think time was a circle, he says, that everything we lost would come back round again. But maybe it's a road, and we're walking it toward the end. Claire looks at him, eyes glistening with both sadness and strength. Then we walk it together, she says softly, until there's no road left. For a moment, the silence between them feels sacred, not empty, but full of everything they've shared. The sound of rain softens, replaced by the slow, rhythmic ticking of a clock nearby. Claire's eyes fall on it, a small brass timepiece, sitting on the mantel, its hands moving steadily forward. She walks toward it and gently touches the glass. The camera closes in on the clock as the voiceover deepens. Time. Once their enemy, now feels like a companion, relentless but honest. It moves forward no matter what, reminding them that even endings are a kind of mercy. Suddenly, lightning flashes across the sky. For a second, the room glows white, and we see their shadows stretch across the walls to figures against the endless march of time. The thunder follows, rolling like distant drums of fate. Claire whispers, I can feel it, Jamie. Something's changing. The air, the world. It's like time itself is holding its breath. Jamie nods, his jaw tight. Then we must be ready when it exhales. Outside, the wind howls louder, shaking the windows. The storm isn't just weather, it's a warning. Tomorrow is no longer a promise, it's a test. The narrator ends the section with a line heavy with meaning. The past has shaped them, the present binds them. But tomorrow will decide if love can truly outlast time. The storm has passed, but the world feels strange, too still, too quiet. Morning light creeps across the land, soft but unsettling. The air hums with something unseen, like a vibration beneath the earth. Claire steps outside, her boots sinking into the damp soil. The forest seems different today, familiar yet unfamiliar, like a dream repeating itself. Birds do not sing. The wind does not move. For a moment, it feels as though the world is holding its breath. The narrator's voice returns, deep and haunting. Time is not a line. It's a living thing, bending, twisting, remembering. And when it decides to turn, no one can stop it. Jamie appears behind her, silent but alert, His eyes scan the horizon, then narrow at something far off, a shimmer, faint but real, like sunlight bending wrong. It's there for a heartbeat, then gone. Claire sees it too. She takes a slow step forward, drawn by instinct rather than reason. The air thickens around them. Heavy with memory, she whispers, "Jamie, do you feel that?" He nods once, the muscles in his jaw tightening. It feels like the past breathing again. The sound of a child laughing echoes through the trees, a sound from nowhere and everywhere. Claire's breath catches. It's Brianna's laughter. The same sound she heard decades ago in another life. The camera pans across the forest, empty, timeless. Nothing moves. And then, just as suddenly as it began, sound fades. The narrator speaks softly. Sometimes time doesn't move forward or back. It circles, showing us pieces of what we've lost, daring us to reach for them. Claire's hands tremble. She looks at Jamie, fear and wonder in her eyes. "It's happening again," she whispers. "The walls between now and then, they're thinning." Claire falls to her knees, dizzy, shaken. Jamie steadies her, his voice soft but urgent. "The war may be over, but time's no done with us." The camera zooms in on Claire's face, eyes wide, reflecting both fear and understanding. She murmurs, almost to herself, "Time isn't breaking. It's calling." The narrator's tone shifts. It's poetic and sorrowful. For years they've defied it, leaped through centuries, fought destiny itself. But now, time is no longer chasing them. It's waiting for them, ready to settle the debt love once owed. Thunder rumbles again, far in the distance, though the sky is clear. Jamie looks up, his face hardening with resolve. "Then we go where it leads us," he says. "Even if it's the end." The camera pans upward, the clouds shifting like waves of time itself. The sound of a clock ticking grows louder, it's echoing into silence. The voiceover ends the section. "Time is a river, and once you're caught in its current, the only choice is whether to fight it, or let it carry you home. When time breaks, it doesn't shatter, it whispers." Night falls again, but it's not the same night as before. The stars hang lower, trembling in the dark sky, as if they too are unsure where they belong. The air feels alive, pulsing with something ancient, not danger, not magic, but memory itself. Claire stands in the doorway of their cabin, the faint glow of the fire behind her. Watching as the mist creeps along the ground like a living thing, the voice of the narrator cuts through the silence. Slow and measured, every story has a center, a moment where past and future meet, and time holds its breath. Jamie and Claire have reached that moment. Inside, Jamie is studying an old map spread across the table. His fingers trace the faded lines of rivers and battlefields, but his mind is elsewhere. He looks up when Claire enters, and in her eyes he sees what he's been feeling, a shift in the world, subtle but unstoppable. The way a leaf falls seconds before the storm returns. Claire speaks softly, her voice steady but filled with unease. "It's changing again, Jamie. The air, the light, even the way the world sounds." He nods, his expression grave. I felt it too. The days feel shorter, the nights longer, as if time itself is losing its way. A candle flickers suddenly, its flame bending sideways, though there's no wind. Then, a sound faint but clear, the ringing of church bells, echoing from somewhere far beyond their time. Both freeze. They've heard those bells before. 2 centuries ago, the camera closes in on Claire's face as realization dawns. It's happening, isn't it? The fracture. Jamie steps forward, gripping her hand. "If time's breaking, then we'll mend it the way we've mended every wound since the day that fell through those stones." The walls seem to breathe. Shadows stretch and twist. The fire burns brighter, its light flickering across the walls like flashes from another world. Suddenly, the room bends, sound warps, the air hums, and for an instant, the cabin disappears. In its place, they stand on the misty hill of Cray Na Dun, the ancient stones glowing faintly under the moonlight. The narrator's tone deepens. The fracture between worlds doesn't open with violence. It opens with longing, the ache of hearts that refuse to let go. Claire reaches out, her hand trembling as she touches the nearest stone. It's cold, but alive, humming like the pulse of the earth itself. Her voice breaks into a whisper. It's calling again. The pull. The same pull that brought me here the first time. Jamie takes her shoulders firmly. Then maybe it's no calling you alone this time. Maybe it's calling us both. A gust of wind erupts, swirling around them like a storm of memories. Voices from every time they've lived. Faces they've loved and lost. For a heartbeat, everything is light, pure, golden, endless. Then, silence. They find themselves back in the cabin, but something is wrong. The fire has gone out. The clock on the mantel is frozen, its hands stopped at midnight. Claire stares at it, then at Jamie. Time's broken. She whispers. The narrator ends the section with haunting simplicity. The fracture is here. Past, present, and future no longer obey the rules. And for Jamie and Claire, the final journey doesn't begin with a choice, it begins with surrender. The cabin stands silent beneath a silver sky. The air feels thinner, almost unreal, like the world itself is fading between heartbeats. Jamie and Claire sit side by side, their hands clasped, the faint light of dawn washing over their faces. Neither speaks. There are no words left for what they've seen. The clock has stopped. The air hums with the pulse of something ancient and infinite. The narrator's voice slips in, calm. It's almost mournful. When time breaks, it doesn't destroy. It reveals. It shows what was always hidden between seconds, the space where love truly lives. Outside, the horizon begins to glow. Not with sunlight, but with something else, a shimmer, like the edge of a dream. The stones at Crana Dun are calling again, though they are miles away. Claire feels it in her bones and her blood. Every beat of her heart answers the pull. Jamie feels it too, not as fear, but as inevitability. He rises slowly, taking Claire's hand. It's calling us Monet en Dawn, he says softly, voice steady despite the tremor beneath it. Maybe this time, it's not about going back, but going home. The earth beneath them seems to hum in agreement. The cabin fades slightly at the edges, its walls dissolving into mist. The line between worlds is breaking, not with violence, but with grace. The air flickers, revealing flashes of moments past. Their wedding. Their first night in Scotland, their partings, their reunions. Every memory dances around them like ghosts saying goodbye. Claire whispers, "Jamie, what if we don't come back?" He smiles that same quiet smile he gave her the first time he saw her. Then we'll finally be where we belong, wherever that is. The ground begins to glow faintly beneath their feet, and a soft wind swirls around them. It's not cold. It feels warm, alive, carrying voices from other times, Brianna calling for her mother. Roger praying under his breath, young Ian laughing in another life. Every voice merges into one endless echo, the sound of love through the ages. The narrator continues, voice deep and poetic. The last crossing isn't about where you go. It's about what you leave behind, the proof that love was real, even when time tried to erase it. Claire closes her eyes, feeling Jamie's hand tighten around hers. For a moment, the hum becomes music, a harmony between time and heart. The light grows brighter, engulfing them both. Their outlines blur. The world folds inward, like pages closing around their story. Jamie whispers one last line before the light swallows them. "If there's another life, I'll find you there too." Then silence. Only the ticking of the clock returns, faint but steady. The fire reignites itself. The room stands empty. 2 cups of tea sit untouched on the table. Steam curling upward and fading into nothing. The voiceover concludes softly, and just like that, they were gone, not lost, not vanished. Just beyond where time bends and love begins again. The camera pans toward the window, where the first rays of real sunlight spill through. Outside, the mist clears, and for a heartbeat, 2 figures can be seen walking hand in hand across the hills. Before the light consumes them, because love doesn't end when time does. It simply finds another century. The hills are quiet again. The storm has passed. The sky is soft gold, painted with the calm after everything has been said and done. The world feels lighter, as if a great weight has finally lifted. The cabin stands untouched, but empty. Only the faint sound of a ticking clock fills the air, steady and patient, marking the rhythm of a world that has started again. The narrator's voice enters, soft and reverent. Time took them. Or maybe, time freed them. For love this pure cannot be buried by years or centuries. It becomes something else, a pulse in the soil, a whisper in the wind, a story that refuses to die. We see the fields around Frasers Ridge, green and alive. Children run through them, laughing, their voices carrying through the morning mist. One of them stops a young girl, hair the color of autumn leaves. She looks toward the horizon and tilts her head, as if listening. In the distance, a faint sound rises, the echo of bagpipes, the ghost of a melody that doesn't belong to this age. She smiles softly, though she doesn't know why. Perhaps, deep down, she feels it, the love that built this place. The souls who walked this land before her. The camera pans slowly across the landscape, the river, the stones, the woods. Every part of it carries their memory. And then, through the trees, we see it, a faint shimmer in the air, like sunlight bending wrong. The same shimmer that once appeared when time began to fracture. But now, it feels different, gentle, peaceful, whole. The narrator's voice deepens. Jamie and Claire did not disappear. They became part of time itself, its heartbeat, its echo. For every love that dares to outlast the clock, theirs is the whisper that says, "Go on. Don't be afraid." In the ruins of the old cabin, the camera lingers on the mantel. The clock, once frozen at midnight, now ticks again. But something has changed. Its rhythm is slower, more human. Next to it, a book lies open. Its pages flutter softly in the breeze, revealing a handwritten note. The words read, "To love beyond time is not to win, but to remember." As the wind turns the page, the faint outlines of two hands appear on the paper, shadows of Jamie and Claire, reaching for each other across eternity. The light swells, it's golden and endless. The narrator's voice closes the story with grace. Their journey began with a fall through time, and ended with a rise beyond it.